Hi, my name is Robert, and welcome to my kitchen in beautiful upstate New York. If you look outside the window, you can still see some snow. We're getting ready for spring, but we're not quite there yet. Today I'm gonna make Lebanese meat pies. I'm gonna make them two different ways. The Lebanese meat pies, we call them, there's two names for them in Arabic, either sfiha, S-F-E-H-A, that would be the Western spelling, or you can call them sambusik, although sambusik is typically fried. So we're gonna make two different kinds of meat pies, one with phyllo dough and one with homemade dough. So let me show you the ingredients that I have. I have my own homemade dough. I made it about an hour ago and it had doubled in size. It's basic dough recipe. 2 medium-sized tomatoes, and I drained them because I didn't want it to be too wet. So I diced, you could see I diced two medium tomatoes. 1 bunch of parsley, which I chopped very fine. You can use either the Italian parsley or the flat leaf parsley. You could see it's very finely chopped. 1 medium-sized onion, cut pretty fairly small. Garlic, fairly minced. Some pine nuts, which we're gonna add the meat mixture. I have some lean ground beef. You can use lamb meat or beef or mix them together. Today I'm using beef. This is what phyllo dough looks like. You find it in the freezer section of the supermarket. And for the spices, the main spice that I use for this particular meat pie, it's a mixture called 7 Spices. It's a Middle Eastern spice mix. It's called 7 Spices. You can find it in the Middle Eastern stores. The meat pie with my own dough, which is going to be in the shape of a kind of a rectangle. I don't pre-cook the meat, but for the meat pie where I'm using the phyllo dough, I'm going to pre-cook the meat. So we're going to mix the ingredients together. 1 pound is about this amount. I'm going to be using my hands because that's the best way to mix it together. We're going to add our parsley. We're going to add the onions. We're going to add our tomatoes. So I'm adding the garlic. I'm adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of the 7 spice mix. 3/4 of a teaspoon. I'm also gonna add some salt and pepper, about 1/2 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. I'm gonna use my hands eventually. Smells good. It brings back smells of my childhood. I'm gonna now cook half the mixture in olive oil. So I'm cooking my my meat mixture on low heat. Use the pine nuts. My hands are clean. I'm gonna just eyeball maybe 2 tablespoons of pine nuts. Now I'm gonna drain my meat mixture to make sure it's not too wet. We have a pre-cooked meat mixture with pine nuts. I melted some unsalted butter. This is 1 stick of unsalted butter. And we have our phyllo dough. And I'm gonna show you how to make them. Now phyllo dough you have to work fast because it dries out very quickly. Otherwise you should cover it with a wet paper towel. But I work pretty fast, so I'm not gonna cover it. So I'm gonna take one layer of phyllo dough. I'm working on parchment paper only because it's a little neater, but you don't have to. I'm gonna brush my phyllo dough with butter. I'm gonna put another layer of phyllo dough. Brush it again. And I'm gonna do one more layer of phyllo dough. I'm gonna now wrap my other remaining layers so to keep them so they don't dry out. I'm gonna cut it in half with a sharp knife. And I'm gonna show you how to fold them. You're gonna fold it like you fold the flag. So you first fold it like this. Then you're gonna fold it this way, just like you fold the flag. Then you're gonna fold it again. Then you're gonna fold it again this way. And then you're gonna fold it one more time. And you have your meat pie ready to go. I'm gonna brush the top with butter to give it a nice golden color when it bakes. And I'm gonna put it on the baking tray. Again, 1 tablespoon of the mixture. Fold it in the triangle. You're gonna fold it again, like you'd fold the flag. Butter acts like a glue, so it kind of sticks together. And I'm gonna butter the top. And I put the folded part, so it doesn't unravel, I put the folded part at the bottom. For now, my oven is set at 375 degrees and they're gonna bake for 20 minutes until it's golden brown. 20 minutes at 375. I have the oven preheating for 400 degrees. So I have my lightly floured surface. I'm gonna take my dough and cut it into sections and save some for later. I'm gonna save some for later. So I have my dough. This is a quarter of the dough. Now I'm gonna take I'm gonna take 1 teaspoon of the mixture. Put it right in the middle. And now what you're gonna do, you're gonna form a rectangle. So what you do, you take both ends and squeeze it like this, and then the other side you squeeze like this. And then you put it on the tray. And I'm baking it on parchment paper so they don't stick. Let's make another one. So you take 1 teaspoon of the mixture. You squeeze the ends to make a rectangle. Put few pine nuts on top because I like pine nuts. I hope you enjoyed today's video about Lebanese meat pies. I want to thank my my video expert, Catherine Thibault. So the meat pies came out of the oven, and they're nice and crispy and brown looking, and they look delicious. And this is the batch without the phyllo dough. This is the homemade dough, and this is with the phyllo. صحتين.